Most young people don't fail after school because they lack motivation. They fail because they pick the wrong first job and never recover from that decision. What I'm about to show you is a 3-stage roadmap that most graduates never see. But the reason it works is not what you think. It has nothing to do with working harder. Let me explain. Stage 1. Employment. Most people assume that getting any job after school is a good thing. That is actually the first mistake. A job can either become a launchpad for your future or a trap that quietly replaces your ambition with comfort. The difference comes down to one question you probably have never asked during an interview. But before I give you that question, let me first explain what a job is actually supposed to do for you. A job provides survival, structure, learning, capital, and experience. That is all true. However, the hidden problem is that most jobs only give you survival and structure while quietly starving your learning and experience. You end up earning just enough to stay comfortable, but not enough to ever escape. What makes this worse is that your brain adapts to that comfort faster than you expect. Within 6 months, what felt like a temporary survival job starts to feel like a permanent reality. The tension here is simple. You need income to survive. But the wrong income will cost you years of progress. So how do you know which jobs are actually useful? The answer is that useful jobs either teach you a valuable skill, increase your opportunities, build your network, improve your communication, or expose you to how business really works. A job that does none of these things is slowly killing your future. Let me show you 3 specific jobs that work as real launchpads. The first is video editor or cameraman. This job is powerful for a reason most people miss. It pays you to learn an internet-based skill. While everyone else spends their evenings trying to figure out content creation, you are getting paid to practice the exact skill that will later let you work for yourself. The skills you develop include editing, storytelling, marketing psychology, and client communication. But the real reason this works is that content creators and businesses are desperate for this skill right now. Demand is higher than supply. What makes this even more useful is that you often do not need your own equipment. You learn using company gear. However, understanding the value of this job alone is not enough. The real leverage comes from what you do with the skill after hours. But we will get to that in stage 2. The second job is sales representative. This one looks uncomfortable to most people, and that is exactly why it is valuable. Sales teaches you persuasion, confidence, communication, negotiation, and how to handle rejection. Those skills transfer into literally every business situation you will ever face. But the deeper reason sales matters is that it shows you how money actually moves in the real world. Most people never learn this. They think business is about ideas or products. It is not. Business is about exchanging value, and sales is the mechanism. People who understand sales rarely stay broke long-term because they can always generate revenue. However, knowing how to sell alone will not create freedom. It just creates income. The real transformation happens when you combine sales with something scalable. That brings us to the third job before we move on. The third job is customer support, reception, or administrative assistant. On the surface, this looks like a basic entry role with nothing special about it. But what makes it effective is something most ambitious people ignore: structure and professionalism. Many young people leave school with no real understanding of how a business operates internally. They do not know how to communicate professionally, how to handle pressure, or how systems actually work. This job builds those habits automatically just by showing up. However, the hidden value is that you get to see the internal mess of a business. You see what breaks, what works, and what frustrates customers. That knowledge is pure education. But this becomes much more powerful once you realize that the goal is not to stay in this job. The goal is to use every job as fuel for the next stage, which leads to a problem. Even with the right job, you are still trading time for money. That is a limit you cannot break through with employment alone. So the real question becomes, how do you escape the time for money trap entirely? Stage 2, online leverage. YouTube. The answer is online leverage, specifically YouTube. YouTube works because it turns your content into an asset that produces value while you sleep. One video can generate views, attract clients, build trust, and create sponsorships all at the same time, long after you stopped working on it. That is what leverage actually means. Most creators fail anyway, so why do most people never make it on YouTube? Most people fail at YouTube for 4 specific reasons: bad content, inconsistency, weak titles and thumbnails, and poor retention. None of these reasons is about luck. Beginners usually focus on the wrong thing first. They obsess over camera quality before they understand the basics of editing and pacing. Editing is what keeps people watching. Cuts remove dead space. Good pacing adds energy. You do not need expensive equipment. You need to learn how to cut out every boring second and how to structure your sentences so they flow. Short sentences work better. Varied pacing keeps people engaged. These are editing skills you can learn for free on YouTube itself. The next problem is choosing a niche. The common advice is to follow your passion. That advice fails for a specific reason. Passion alone does not guarantee demand. You can love making videos about stamp collecting, but if almost no one searches for that topic, your growth will be painfully slow. The opposite problem is choosing a purely profitable niche like finance or tech when you have zero interest in it. You will quit before you get results. The real solution is to find the overlap between what you can tolerate learning about, what people actually search for, and what advertisers pay for. This overlap is different for everyone. Picking the right niche still does not guarantee growth. The next problem is packaging. Packaging means your title and thumbnail. Most creators spend 90% of their time on the video content and 10% on packaging. That is backwards. On YouTube, the best video in the world gets 0 views if nobody clicks on it. The platform uses click-through rate as its primary signal. Low click-through rate tells YouTube that people are not interested, so it stops recommending your video. You can improve your content for months with almost no results if your packaging is weak. The solution is simple. Spend as much time on your title and thumbnail as you do on the video itself. Test multiple options. Study what works in your niche. Even great packaging will fail without good retention. Retention is the percentage of the video people actually watch. YouTube cares about this more than almost anything else. If people click and leave after 30 seconds, the algorithm stops suggesting your video. Good retention comes from good editing and good scripting. Cut every unnecessary word. Add cuts to maintain energy. Use B-roll to illustrate your points. Change the visual every few seconds. You also need to manage expectations. You lose viewers when they feel like you are taking too long to get to the point. Get there faster. Respect their time. These are standard techniques that every successful YouTuber uses. Understanding retention alone is not enough because you still need to actually monetize. The monetization path has 3 steps. First, reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours to qualify for the partner program. Second, earn ad revenue based on your views, audience location, and niche. Third, and most importantly, brand deals and sponsorships. This third step is where real money comes from, but only once you have built a trusting audience. Companies pay creators because creators have attention, not because the content is good. Attention is the actual asset. Even with ad revenue and sponsorships, you are still somewhat dependent on YouTube's algorithm. That is a fragile position. The real goal of Stage 2 is not to become a full-time YouTuber. It is to use YouTube to generate enough income and audience trust that you can move to Stage 3, which is ownership. Stage 3, business ownership. Ownership is the final stage because it removes dependence on any single platform or employer. When you own a business, you control the asset. The income comes from systems you built, not from trading time or attention. Most people approach this backwards. They try to start a business with no savings, no skills, and no audience. That fails because business requires fuel. The fuel can be savings from your job, or income from your online leverage, or skills you developed along the way. Without fuel, you cannot survive the early months when the business makes nothing. The bigger mistake is what people choose to build. They chase glamorous businesses like dropshipping or app development without any real advantage. The smarter approach is to start with boring, simple, high-demand businesses that actually produce cash flow. Let me give you 3 examples that work surprisingly well. The first is a laundry or washing machine business. This sounds too simple to be useful, but think about the mechanics. People always need clean clothes. The service is recurring. You can start small, prove the model, and then hire workers to operate it. Eventually, the business runs with very little of your time. That is ownership without glamour. Demand does not disappear during economic downturns. People cut subscriptions before they stop washing their clothes. The second example is a rental business. This could be chairs, tents, cameras, speakers, or gaming consoles. You buy equipment once, and people pay you repeatedly to use it. That is leverage built into the business model itself. Your job becomes maintenance and logistics, not trading hours for dollars. The third example is a small food or beverage spot, smoothie stand, coffee spot, snack shop. These work because of daily, repeat customers. The margin on coffee or smoothies is extremely high once you have basic systems in place. None of these businesses will make you look wealthy online. That is not the goal. The goal is stable cash flow, ownership, and time flexibility. Once you own a business that produces consistent income, you are no longer in survival mode. You are in control. Final section, the real message. The reason most people stay stuck after school is not laziness or lack of talent. It is that they never see the 3-stage progression. They go from school straight to survival mode. Then survival mode becomes permanent. Then responsibilities grow and dreams slowly disappear. The solution is not to skip stages. The solution is to use each stage as fuel for the next. Stage 1, employment, gives you survival and learning. Stage 2, online leverage, gives you scalable income and an audience. Stage 3, ownership, gives you systems and freedom. You do not need to become successful immediately after school. You just need to keep moving through the stages. The danger is never starting small. The danger is staying mentally stuck in the same place for years. Use every stage to build the next stage. That is how people slowly escape survival mode and create real freedom. If you want to go deeper into Stage 2, I have a video breaking down exactly how to grow your first YouTube channel without any experience.